Oh man, what are the Washington Wizards doing? By the time that I'm recording this, the Washington Wizards just traded away Rui Hachimura to the Los Angeles Lakers for Kendrick Nunn and 3 future second round picks. Yeah, right off the bat, my initial thoughts is this trade really makes no sense. I understand the Wizards are close to the luxury tax. They're not going to be able to re-sign Rui Hachimura this offseason, but for one, that's a problem that they created. Two, Rui Hachimura was just drafted 3 drafts ago. So I think, what else is there to do except for talk about the Washington Wizards? Let's talk about confusing, how dysfunctional, how just, I don't even know what to make of this franchise, man. It's just poor move on top of poor move on top of poor move. Let's discuss, man. Let's just discuss. So let's dive deeper into the trade. Rui Hachimura, it's been said for plenty of time now that he would probably be the likely candidate to be moved. And they wanted to offload his contract because this offseason they're planning on paying guys like Kyle Kuzma and Kristaps Porzingis what I would assume would be max money. And man, that right there is just, I don't get it. Looking at the NBA standings, the Washington Wizards are currently the 12th seed in the Eastern Conference, sitting at 20-26. This team has been mediocre not just this year or last season, for a lot of years now, and this is just a move in the wrong direction. Everybody thought this team should have blew it up and started tanking last year, but they didn't. Talking about what they did last offseason, they made a couple trades, traded away KCP for Will Barton and Monte Morris. I mean, that's a whatever trade. The biggest thing they did in the offseason was re-signing Bradley Beal. That's such a mistake to do. I still have no idea why they did it. Bradley Beal is still a Washington Wizard, and he signed a 5-year, $250 million deal. And get this, the contract has a no trade clause. After not making the playoffs last year, after losing in the first round the year prior, the Wizards rewarding him with a $250 million contract. So now they're literally stuck with him. By the time Bradley Beal's 34 years old, he's going to be making $50 million. Actually, I think it's going to be more than that. The contract does steadily go up, but either way, he has a no trade clause, so he can pick the team that he wants to go to. If any team is even crazy enough to trade for that type of contract, they made the trade for Kristaps Porzingis. They made the trade for Kyle Kuzma, which those trades made sense in retrospect at the time. Now you're going to have to pay them. And if we look at the type of contract they're going to get, I mean, Kyle Kuzma with the season he's having, I'm just going into the offseason expecting that he's going to get a contract similar to what Tobias Harris got, a 4 or 5 year deal making $40 million a year annually. And Kristaps Porzingis will probably demand the same money. So if you look at it through that lens, you're going to have Kristaps making 40 mil, Kyle Kuzma making 40 mil, and Bradley Beal making 50 mil. $130 million a year through 3 players, and the rest of the core is just bad. And it's crazy because those guys are having great seasons. You know, Kyle Kuzma is having a career year. Kristaps Porzingis is having one of his best seasons he's had in his NBA career, but they are in no way, shape, or form worth $40 million annually that they're going to get. And there's no out for the Wizards. That's the hardest part. There's no, ooh, we can get out of Bradley Beal's contract because they can't. We can get out of extending Kyle Kuzma because they can't. We can get out of extending Kristaps Porzingis because they can't. This team is stuck. And it's not even like they can get some help through the draft or anything, because this team is one of, if not the worst drafting team we have seen over the last decade. As little as people might talk about Rui Hachimura, as you could say he's like an average, you know, maybe slightly above average. He's a pretty okay player, you know. Rui Hachimura is probably the best draft pick that the Wizards have had over the last 7 or so years. Just think about that for a second. Rui Hachimura was a 9th overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft. Can't really slouch them for that decision. In 2020, they took Deni Avdija with the 9th overall pick. Once again, Deni Avdija, coming out of Israel, was supposed to be the next best foreign player, the next best foreign thing, and he just hasn't really progressed into that status. He's solid on defense. The jumper needs some work. He's a decent playmaker, but he's nothing really much more than that. I mean, we're looking at this draft, they could have taken a Tyrese Halliburton because they needed a point guard bad. Or what about the 2021 NBA draft where they took Corey Kispert with their 15th overall pick? Might I add a pick ahead of Alperen Sengun? Might I add 2 picks ahead of Trey Murphy? And then we come to the 2022 NBA draft where, man, ooh, this might be the worst one of them all. Now, in this year's draft, they took Johnny Davis with the 10th overall pick. Coming out of college, coming out of Wisconsin, I really like Johnny Davis, but his shot mechanics are extremely poor. The shot is just extremely slow. It's one thing to struggle in the NBA as a lottery pick, but to struggle in the G League, that's some cause for some real concerns. Where are they going to have room for change? Where is there going to be a chance to make a trade to add another piece? They just seem to always go backwards. I mean, since they had that great run in 2017 where they won 49 games and made it 1 game away from the Eastern Conference Finals, they have gone backwards and backwards and backwards and backwards. And some of it is not their fault. I mean, they couldn't have predicted John Wall tearing his Achilles at home, but a lot of it is their fault. And now they're trying to fix it, but their version of fixing it is just honestly making it worse. And if you're a Wizards fan, what is there really to look forward to? Because, I mean, you look at the rest of the roster besides the players that we talked about. There's Daniel Gafford, who he's a solid NBA center. Monte Morris is a okay point guard. Will Barton is an okay shooting guard. DeLon Wright is an okay point guard. This team is what it is, and it's probably going to be what it is for the next 3, 4, 5 years until these guys are off their contracts, or until they somehow, some way finally hit on a draft pick. Their coaching is bad. The front office is bad. And speaking more on the coaching, I mean, there have been multiple instances of guys like Danny Avdia and Rui Hachimura and Kyle Kuzma legit bashing the coaching from this team. And Wes Unseld Jr., man, he's got to go. He has no idea what he's doing in Washington. So, do I think the Wizards can fix this? No, I don't. Considering their track record, they're going to re-sign these guys and be stuck as a 10th, 9th seed probably for the next 3 to 4 years. The only way for them to fix this is to embrace the tank. And considering they don't want to do that, the team is what it is.